Hey, PP family. So, we have another installment of Pep Talks today. Our topic is going to be, as you see below, it's all about me discussing self love, self worth, and self acceptance. And as usual, I have another guest to bring y'all. So, welcoming in, she is a North Carolina native. She's a mother of three, a creative visionary, and entrepreneur. We're going to welcome another family member, Tonya, or Miss Positivity. Hello.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm well. It's been a day, but we are making it through, right?
It's like
So
a Monday or something. A full moon is happening.
it
Yeah,
definitely feels like that.
for sure.
And it's what? Third? No, Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah,
It's Wednesday, but it feels like a Monday for sure.
definitely does.
Yeah.
But we're going to make it through. So,
Yes.
all right. So, as I've already stated, we know that you are a mother of three, a creative visionary and entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit more. Like, who's Miss Positivity?
Miss Positivity. My name is Tonya Cowan, born and raised in Salisbury, North Carolina, the big town of Smallsbury, as I call it. And Miss Positivity came about because I like to be positive and spread, uplifting and empowerment and inspiration. And so my name is Tonya. So I kind of took that as let's do Miss Positivity on there. And so with that, that's my brand. And my tagline is empower, inspire, uplift. So I have one brand and multiple businesses. And with those businesses, I have As You Wish, Websites, Engagement, and Marketing, which is my marketing company where I create websites and logos and different designs, marketing plans, email campaigns, all that fun marketing stuff. And then I also have Adorable Designs, which is my women's apparel clothing line. It's all online e-commerce where we just have empowering sayings and things like that just to show and empower, uplift each other. And then Design with a Purpose, CFS, which stands for Courage, Faith, and Strength, is my nonprofit where we, mentor young ladies in the community and bring empowerment to women in the community. And each year we have an annual event, and this is actually the fifth annual event. I'm so excited.
Right.
Five, and from a spiritual sense, means grace, and that's exactly what God has bestowed upon me is grace when it comes to Design with a Purpose. And I'm so excited. That's October 15th, 2022, at the City of Raleigh Museum in Raleigh. If you want a ticket, just hit me up, or you can go to Eventbrite and download your ticket or order your ticket for $20. So 20 in advance, 25 at the door. Hope to see you there.
5 years.
5 years.
It's funny because one, I'm mad I didn't wear my shirt today that I wanted.
Oh
So
yeah,
I'm so mad. When you said it, I was like, no, I should have
walking in
planned
my
it better.
purpose.
Yes, I should have planned it a little better. But again, it's been a
It's
long
all
day.
good. I got a picture of you in it and I've promoted it. So that's
That
what
works.
matters.
I'll make
Yeah.
sure I post it as well. I'm on a little social media break right now, but I'll definitely make sure to
Understand.
post.
Understand.
But no, I actually remember, um, because that's time wise, it's coinciding with the same time that I moved here,
Oh,
to
really?
Houston. So this will be my fifth year here, and I
Wow.
remember that was your first year doing it after
Hmm.
that move here. So
Wow. Look how time
congratulations.
flies.
Really, like
Yeah.
seriously, it's flying. But
Yeah.
no, congratulations on that
Thank you
for
so
sure.
much. Thank you
And
so
you said
much.
it's in October.
It's October 15th. It's always the third Saturday of October, always.
Okay, cool.
And so this year it falls on the 15th.
Gotcha. Haven't been to one yet. I'm gonna see if I can make it this
Hope
year.
you can make it. The dress is to
So
impress. We're trying to just step on out there
okay,
and have a good time. So come dressed in your best. Yeah.
noted. I will
Yeah.
definitely do that, and I'll get other information so I can also tag it and share
Sure.
that too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no, I'm wow.
Absolutely.
And I didn't
Yay.
realize As You Wish was um so involved. You have a lot
Yes.
that you have there.
Yes, I have some wonderful website clients. I just collaborated with another lady. She used to be my social media coordinator, but I reached out to her to say, "Hey, would you like to take these clients on as your own, and we collaborate with each other?" So, I felt good about helping someone else get their own business started, and so I speak collaboration over competition a lot. And so, what other better way to collaborate with one another than through business? And so, she does the social media part now. So it was just a lot. It's a lot managing people's social media pages,
Yeah.
and I had to be realistic with myself and like, okay, I got to let something go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have I don't know how many active website clients I have right now because God just keeps blessing me. I'm working on 2 websites right now. I have someone who's just recently inquired as of yesterday. We'll be meeting and doing her consultation next week. So it's fun stuff. I've been in marketing for a long time, 20 some years.
Wow.
So if I can do this for a corporation, I can clearly do it for myself. So it's fun.
Absolutely. And that's,
Yeah.
that's what I love when we can actually take those reins and take our gifts. And again, not only, as I say, your gift will make room for you.
Yeah,
So when we not
absolutely.
only give out to, again, these corporations and everything else, but pouring back into ourselves and doing things for
Absolutely.
ourselves with that. So now I'm
Hmm.
super,
Hmm.
super proud of you and
Thank
happy you've
you.
been able to do that. So
Thank you. The small business owner is in my heart. That's who I support right now. We'll see
gotcha.
how what God brings to me if I move to medium and large size companies because we know that's when the money comes in, right? But the small business owner is definitely close to my heart, so that's who I work with.
Gotcha. Hey, I am here for it. So, and
Yeah.
it's funny, because with the topic today, which we are discussing all about me, which is involving self love, self worth, and self acceptance.
Hmm.
Initially thinking about it, I was just thinking about it from like a personal perspective, but not thinking that this also applies to business. Like
Yeah.
how you apply in your worth and your value and accepting who you are and all those different things. So,
Absolutely.
are there any experiences that you want to share, talk about that's been on your journey or
Sure.
process?
Sure. Well, one thing that I've learned throughout this journey is that you have to set healthy boundaries. Let's just start there because we can do a
Yeah.
lot. We find ourselves doing so much. I know I'm not alone here, where, you're working. I was raising children at the time. I was traveling with my job. I was working full time. I even got my degree doing all this stuff, right? And it's like, it's just a lot. So, understanding setting those healthy boundaries, I think that's the self-love part that comes into play because we can stretch ourselves too thin.
Yeah.
And so I've had to learn how, okay, these are my working hours for my own business. This is when I respond to emails. You can email me on Friday, but I'm not going to respond till Monday, that kind of thing. Just
Yep.
setting those boundaries and teaching people how you work. And it's people will respect that, honestly. That's the honest truth. If you let people just contact you whenever, then that's what they're going to do. But when you set those boundaries and they know, oh, okay, she's off today. It's like, for example, when you go to the bank. If the bank closes at 5 o'clock and you call them, are they going to pick up the phone? No. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how you have to look at it, right?
No.
And so with that self-love and stuff, even with the business, again, Miss Positivity, going back to my name, it's all about the self-love, self-worth, and self-acceptance. So it's like um, empowering, inspiring, and uplifting people. And I always say specifically women because I'm a woman first, right?
Mhm.
But that applies to anyone when it comes to that. I can only relate as a woman in the experiences that I've had, which is why the woman is close to my heart, right? And I have daughters, and they experience the same stuff, right? So some of the same things I did, and so yeah, that's where that self love I think comes into even with your business because your mental health is so important, and when that's off balance, everything else gets off balance,
Mhm.
And I had to learn that the hard way. And so I'll wait. I'll save that one for later, where we talk
Okay.
about how to learn it the hard way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, and I think even with you stating that, the women's perspective being something that's close to you, I think that is very needed, as you said, even especially having daughters.
Hmm.
Being daughters, again, sometimes even just being Black women in America and just all those
Hello.
different things, it's definitely needed. So I definitely,
Yeah.
um, and, I think it's a thing of also, as you said, setting those boundaries. It's like, it's not impossible, but it's almost sometimes unhealthy to feel like that you have to try to be there for everything and everybody. So I think it's great,
Yeah.
even in that, to be like, you know what, I can cater to who I know I can reach and
Yeah.
help and be there for. Okay, man, we got to step up. It's where,
Yeah.
it's like I'm gonna let somebody else do what they need to do on that end because I can
Absolutely.
only be where I know that where I can. So no, I
That's
think
right.
that's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, ooh, try not to get too carried away too soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Some good learning lessons. I tell you, some good
Yes.
learning stuff. Yeah.
So, well, and so even in that, I think to talk about self love and self acceptance and self, and this is probably where we'll get a little deeper. As a coaching principle, I always say, and So a little backstory on how this topic came about as a coaching principal for me. It was actually when I moved to Houston.
Yeah.
A lot of my coaching points came after my relocation here or relocating, and it was just life, just
Hmm.
hitting. You know, you experiencing things, and so there is a specific scenario where had an issue with somebody and I wanted to be right and vindicated in this moment. It was like, you're gonna listen to what I'm saying. You're gonna hear me. Don't say nothing. It's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, so that was literally I wrote a letter and that's how it started. And it was like it's all about me and this and that. And literally after I said everything I said, feeling like I was so right,
Hmm.
like literally standing in their face, it hit me and was like, you are right. It is all about you.
Hmm.
But let's now correct the other side of this. So I say it's a
Yes.
double-edged sword because we get to a point to where we finally try to make it all about us, but we don't want to deal with the fact of why we allowed certain things to be
There you
the
go.
way that they were for so
That's
long.
right.
So it's
That's right.
like, it's fine, celebrate you, do what you need to do for you, but I think it's important to take that time to
Oh
recognize
yeah. Hmm.
why, it's those situations like you always do this or you always do these things, but it's like, well, why do you allow that?
Well, you allowed it,
Hmm?
so they're gonna
You
keep
know?
doing it.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
it ties
Hmm.
into with boundaries that
Hmm.
I think as you begin to set those boundaries, you have to think about it from that perspective of like,
Yeah.
not only am I setting this boundary to be like, okay, you cannot disrespect me, you cannot do this, but I have to deal with the fact that I allowed it for so long as
That's
well.
right. That's
So
right.
it's just again, way too,
That's
but
those
that's
epiphanies that we
yes,
have, right? Because we did. You allow this, right? And we teach people how to treat us, right? And so, if you keep allowing it, they're gonna keep doing it. It's okay.
exactly.
I can talk out the side of my neck to them. They're not gonna do anything, or you know, I can say this. They're not gonna say anything back.
Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
No, I agree. So, what is a talking about that and having the
Yeah.
epiphanies and things? What is a aha moment that you had when, whether it was maybe a moment where you discovered it's like, wait, I need to make a shift.
Hmm.
I've given so much to a lot of other people. I've accommodated a lot.
Yeah.
What was that moment for you that was like, let me really just go inward here and
Yeah.
work on
Yeah.
these things?
So this is 100% full transparency for me. So last May, so let's just back up a second, just so it's clear and everyone knows that starting in 2010, I have panic attacks in my sleep, which means I never know when it's coming. I certainly can't control it. It wakes me up out of my sleep. And this is real stuff. And it was very scary the first time I had it because I literally thought I was having a heart attack. And so I've learned how to deal with that through the years, know what my triggers are, get the right amount of rest, try not to be stressed out, that kind of thing. But I found myself getting overwhelmed again when it came to all these businesses I just told you that I do, and working and some other things that was going on. And so I'm staying up on hours of the night trying to work. I'm up at what 7 trying to get dressed for work, even though I was working remote. But I'm working all day on my job and then getting off and then working on these businesses. And I'm up to like 10, 11, 12, then doing it again the next morning. That's too much. And the
Right.
older you get, it becomes even more too much, right? Because you're getting a little older. And so I had a very bad panic attack, the worst one I've ever had to date. And it lasted way longer. Usually, when they hit, I know what it is. It wakes me up and I can kind of breathe through it, calm myself down, and go back off to sleep. I could never do. It's like if you've never
Wow.
had a panic attack, the best way I can explain it is that it feels like you're running a marathon, or you're running as fast as you can, I should say, but you're sitting still. That's because your heart is just going.
Yeah.
And so that one lasted to the point where I thought that was it. I thought I was leaving this world. I thought it was a heart attack and that was it. To where I was trying my best to keep myself calm. I ended up calling my daughters in the room to try to help me. They were trying to calm me down. I was like, you know what? Just call 911 because I just didn't know what else to do at that point. So this one lasted 15 minutes, whereas for me, a typical panic attack is a few seconds or minutes. It's
Gotcha.
like this was 15 minutes long, you know. And so when they arrived, they checked my blood pressure and all that stuff, and of course it was elevated. And I felt comfortable just going to the emergency room, because that's how bad it was. And usually I'm the one like, oh yeah, I'll be fine. Nope, I needed to go to the emergency room and be seen because something's not right. And so
Right.
from there, thankfully, it was only a panic attack. There was no heart attack or stroke or any of that. But it opened my eyes to say, okay, enough is enough. You're running around here doing things for other people who, I'm not saying they don't appreciate it, Trail, but at the same time,
Hmm.
it's like they don't want to compensate you for your work. Now that I'm sick of, okay, that's a
Yeah.
whole nother topic and conversation, right? But your, I had to put it into perspective. My daughters were both beside me. If something was to happen to me, that's going to affect my daughters.
Yeah.
These people I'm working for are doing things for. I'm not saying they're not going to be affected, but it's not going to be in the same sense that my daughters would. And it's like, what am I doing this for? And that was the light bulb that went off for me to say, enough is enough. Let's put some boundaries in place. Let's make me a priority first. Like I'm the priority, me. Because
Yeah.
if I'm not good, I
Nothing.
can't be good at my job. I can't be a good mom to my daughters.
Yeah.
I can't because I'm not good mentally or physically. And so that was my aha moment. And it was a huge eye opener. From that moment on, I promise I don't even have my ringer on my phone because I didn't realize that those are my triggers. Because I like to respond when I see, like, oh, I got to respond. Oh, I got to respond.
Gotcha.
And no, I don't. But that's a me thing. Right. And
Yeah.
so my ringer has not been on since May of 2021. It does not stay on. It's a trick. And when I hear someone's phone, it's a trigger.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that.
Wow.
Yeah. So
And
that was an
it's
aha.
that, and no, like that's even again even more profound to even think about it in that sense of like again to go that deep and recognize those type triggers where it's
Mhm.
like because again a lot of times people think even setting boundaries is about boundaries for other people, but
Yeah.
we have to set those boundaries for ourselves too.
For
So to
ourselves.
even state that it's like because I think I do that too, where it's like the moment that something goes off, it's like I have to respond immediately. I have to do this,
Yeah.
and I've kind of just to tag onto it and piggyback for a little bit. It's like I've actually gotten to that point where now it's like sometimes it takes me a couple of days to respond to text
Hmm.
messages now because I'm
Hmm.
like I don't have the energy and I'm not gonna fake it. I'm not gonna force myself
And
to
it's
respond.
okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't
Hmm.
mean. And I'm like I try to tell people a lot now. It's like if I don't answer for you, if I love you, but I have to love me too. Like I just
That's
have
right.
to be able to take that time and
Hmm.
set those things because it is needed, especially when we are trying to do a lot
Oh, yeah.
and we are just on go 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 go. It's
All the
like
time.
we got to press pause.
Yeah.
So I think that's great.
Hmm.
Um, wow. Um,
Yeah, that was it. I don't think you knew that. I don't share it a
I,
lot. It's not a secret. I'm not embarrassed or ashamed or anything. It is what it is.
yeah.
There's a lot of people that deal with mental health. And I think that's the first thing we need to recognize is that. And it's not, and it's
So
okay. It's okay. It's just that, and at the end of the day, everyone experiences panic. Everyone experiences anxiety. Everyone experiences depression. But
yes,
some of us just need a little more help to cope.
right,
What I try to do is not take it on as like, oh, I have panic attacks. Well, I can't do this. Got panic attacks, right? Or
right,
I can't say my anxiety gonna go. I don't do that because I'm not trying to give it any life, if that makes sense.
yeah,
I know that it is something that I have to work on and deal with, but I don't give life to it.
yeah. No, and I
Yeah,
agree, and I think that was the thing, as you said, we all have those stories,
yeah,
and even growing up, it's when you are in a close family who's you experience a lot of love in those
yeah,
families or if
yeah.
there's religion in that, so a lot of times it's hard to discuss those type
Oh,
topics,
yeah,
and again piggybacking and sharing, it was suicide for me,
yeah.
growing up. It
And
was
that's real.
yeah, and
Hmm.
so it was just I don't think anybody in the family had talked about it at that time,
Right.
so it was like even my immediate family, like my parents, didn't really know how to
Yeah.
accept that or deal with it because it's almost
Mhm.
like a what does it say about me as your parent kind of thing, and it's like
They start
it's
taking it personally,
not,
and it's not
yeah,
a
and it's
personal thing.
not,
Yeah. Hmm.
and even down to like you said, depression and anxiety, and those are things that I even tell clients is that um my goal isn't to try to get them to a point to say that you'll never deal with this again,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
my goal is to help you learn how to manage this daily,
Correct.
to where it's just a thing to where again if you again, religiously, if you are delivered and you don't deal, perfect. I am happy for you. But as you said, some of us, we just have those moments, but you still don't get to that point until you, because, again, faith is an action word. So you can have
Absolutely.
the faith that you won't deal with it, but the action that you get through that is learning how to manage that.
That's
And
right.
the biggest part that you said was learning your triggers, learning those things
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
send you down those spirals and kind of things. And so, no, I think that
Yeah,
all still ties into self worth and self love
absolutely.
and taking that time for yourself for sure.
Yeah, and you talk about
Um,
faith. It's like God put these uh, psychiatrists, psychologists, this medication on the earth to help. Come on now, stop it. Stop with that. Yes, you definitely are supposed to pray.
yeah,
Absolutely, 100% agree. But you also need to trust God, and He put these people and this medication in place for a reason. And if you have to use it, then use it.
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
one of the hard things for that is I don't think people understand the concept of duality. That it's
Yeah.
like people don't think that both two things can exist at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like you can pray and
Yeah.
still get what
And
you
still,
need,
and still take some medication. You can
Um,
do both.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Or
think
get some therapy for sure.
that part, because how many people need that? So it's
Yes.
definitely that thing for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but as we talk about childhood and things, how do you think your childhood played a part in
Yeah.
either how you understand it now or how you understood it then, as far as what self love and self worth and self acceptance was?
Yeah. So this is a great question. And it's something that honestly, I want to say about 2, 3 years that I realized that someone had been dimming my light all these years.
Mm,
Don't know that they knew they were doing it intentionally. I'm just going to be honest. I can't speak to that. But growing up, you know me, Trail. I was always, you see me, I got my little frilly dress. I always like to dress up and do my little hair and all of that. That didn't mean I thought I was cute. That just meant that's what I like to do.
right.
And I felt like it was family members and friends who's, well, she thinks she's cute or calling me glamour, all this other stuff. And that really did cause like a complex, like a self insecureness about myself that I felt like, well, am I not supposed to dress up? I think you posted a picture the other day. I think that's a good example. It was a picture of all of us at the beach. And so you were younger, right? But I'm the only one in the dress, sitting there in my little sundress, and everybody else got on their shorts or whatever. But that's just who I've always been.
Yeah.
And I felt like, I didn't know that at the time, but as I became an adult, I was like, oh my gosh, people were truly trying to dim my light and take away, like, this is who I am. Like, let's just embrace that for a
Yeah.
second. It's okay that I'm not a tomboy. I don't want to wear shorts and climb a tree. Like, that's
Right.
not who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you don't really realize that as a kid. And I remember when I had my first session with my psychologist and we were talking and she wanted to go to my childhood. I'm like, why does psychologists always want to talk about your childhood? But then it was like, because it truly does shape you as an
Yes.
adult. It
Yep.
really does. I found myself, Trail, that when I would go home to visit, I felt like I had to have my hair done or I had to dress a certain way. And I'm like, why am I doing this? It took
Yeah.
years for me to understand because I was looking for some type of an acceptance because of the insecure feelings that I had and not realizing that. And it clicked one day and I'm like, seriously, you're just going home to see family.
Yeah.
What is the big deal? And so those are some things that kind of come into play and I had to learn as I got older and also stand away from negative environments. And what I mean by that is, we have a loving family, absolutely. But I think that sometimes when you get into that small town mentality and you don't take yourself out of that environment in that small town, and there's certain you don't even realize that you're negative or you don't even realize it's happening
Yep.
until you remove yourself from that environment and you see it. And when you go back around it, you're like, wait a minute, this don't
Ooh.
even feel right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I've been at that point in my life. And so I do like day trips. Like, okay, I can go see my family, but I don't mean I have to stay all the
Yeah.
time. That doesn't mean I don't love them. That doesn't mean that. It's just I'm protecting my spirit and I'm protecting my vibe. And I don't want to be around negativity, the end.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I try to say something or correct something, it might not be perceived the way that I'm meaning it to be, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. And so it's almost like a lost cause to try to explain yourself,
Yeah.
when you're like, well, this is why. I don't come around, or this is why,
Well, and
you know.
especially when it's a situation where some people are just committed to misunderstanding. Like when people don't get something or don't understand something, the links they'll go to never try to understand
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
like you don't even do you why are you asking me? Do you
yeah.
really even want to try
Do
to
you want to
understand
know?
this?
I don't think you want to
Because
know.
no, and so no lie, like funny story. We grew up with my mom always saying,
Yeah.
"Don't question my motors."
Yes. Yes.
And so, but it got to a point to where I realized even how that affected me because
Mm,
growing up, personal story, my dad used to always ask, like, "Why are you wearing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing this?" But it would sometimes come from a place of to try and say, "Well, do this instead or do that."
yeah.
So it got to a point to where growing up, to where I learned that I don't like being questioned. So I've used that statement from my mom a lot, like don't question, and I'll still
Don't
say motors sometimes instead of motives. Like don't question
don't
me.
don't question
And
me. Hmm.
and so my best friend, like we had a heated moment about that before because he was asking, I was getting ready for a performance, and he was like, well, "Why do you want to wear that?" And I'm like, "Because I freaking
Because
want
I
to.
want
Like,
to
how
wear
dare
this.
you?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"No, no, no. I'm just trying to act like." And I'm like, "Oh." Because
It's
I
a
wasn't
trigger.
used, yeah. So I wasn't used to someone asking
Yeah.
to really get clarity or understanding. It's like,
You
are
thought
you
it was more
asking
from a judgmental point of
judgment
view
and
that you were used
critiquing
to.
and
Yeah.
exactly? So it was just
Hmm.
one of those things, and so that's why I do like to ask that question.
Yeah.
And even as a coach, I too always start at childhood, and people are like, "Why do we have to go through this?" But like you said, it really shapes you, and it
It
really, I think, when you
truly,
realize that a lot
truly
of the
does.
things we do, it's we don't even recognize why we're doing it, but it dates back to all of that.
Hmm.
In a lot
Which
of
which I
situations.
also don't like to fail, and I know it comes from my childhood because of this
Mm,
acceptance I was trying to get. So I don't want to fail, if that makes sense, because I felt
yeah,
like, okay, I'm not living up to whatever certain measure that I'm supposed to be living up to, and
yeah.
so this is why I have this fear of failing. And I had to get past that too. I don't like to cry because I feel like that's a sign of weakness.
Mm,
Because those that were around me that were strong didn't cry. Does that make sense? And so
yeah.
I had to learn that when I got older. Um, it is okay. Crying is. I got it up here on my desk to look at every day. Crying is cleansing and restorative.
Yes.
And so for a long time, I would fight it. Like even if I was feeling emotional, like I am not gonna cry, or I felt like I had to go in my room because nobody could see me cry. I didn't even want to cry in front of my daughters because to me it was a sign of weakness.
Hmm.
And I had to get to that point and understand that it is okay.
And I think, like you said, we saw a lot of strong people in our family. But
Hmm.
I think one of the things is, and why I've always been so vocal about expressing emotions in that sense, is because those are sometimes things that we didn't see.
Yeah.
And so I think what happens is it also robs us of our humanity,
Oh God, yeah.
where it's like, no, those are your feelings. It's okay that you feel that way.
It's
That's,
okay to feel how you feel.
yeah,
You should go through your feelings. It's okay. Just don't stay there.
yeah,
Right. So feel that feeling. That's why you're human. Feel the
yeah,
feeling, process it, get through it, and don't stay there.
yeah.
Get out of it. So
Nope, I agree.
yeah.
So but it is always interesting coming through childhood and then coming through adulthood and
Hmm.
having to look back on some of those things because the self acceptance part is one of the biggest parts for
Oh
me in
yeah.
this too. That
Absolutely.
I think we've shared the story privately before as well, but I felt that I was compared to one of our cousins
Yeah.
growing up,
Yeah.
and for a lot of reasons felt like I couldn't do certain things that they were doing because maybe
Yeah.
it was like, oh, you wanted to be like them or copying, and it's like, no, just
Hmm.
because one person is creative, they're doing something
That's
doesn't
right.
mean someone else can't. But I bring all this up because I remember I've since then had a conversation with this person. We've
Yeah.
rekindled and reconnected in ways
Awesome.
that,
That's beautiful.
whew, that's a whole other conversation. But it was like
Yeah.
I was in tears, bawling when we talked. It was like, oh my god! But
Oh wow.
um, they were also sharing that they've done this, and then I did it
Hmm.
as I saw myself approaching 30 more. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's that thing of 30, like what that is,
Hmm.
but I started calling other family members and was like, you know what? I'm no longer accepting or seeking your validation or approval.
And
Um,
it's okay, and because I don't need it.
yeah, but it
Because
was.
family can be your own worst critic, which I don't get that. A stranger will accept you quicker than your family will. What is up with that?
I haven't quite been able to figure it out yet.
Yeah, yeah. Always want to judge or have something to say or this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't know if
yeah.
it's because it's a thing of because you do recognize that you come from the same place, and if you're doing something different, it's like, well, who do you think you are? I don't know if
Mhm.
that's what it is, or
Oh no.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's something to ponder,
Yep.
to try and figure out. But whew,
Yeah.
again, that's a whole other
Whole other
conversation.
conversation. You need to add that down to one of your list of topics to talk about.
Yes, why is that a thing with family?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So well, I'm not gonna make it too long today. So that's all I have for the moment. Do you
Okay.
have anything you want to add, or any questions you have on the other side, or anything?
Yeah,
Or
I just want to thank you for bringing me on. I can be very talkative, but
no, you're
just
good.
wanted to thank you for bringing me on. And this was really good. I think this is a great, step to healing internally with, as family, helping other people heal, as we become transparent and talk about ourselves and
Yeah.
what our experiences have been. So yeah, I just want to thank you for inviting me and considering me to be a part of your
Oh,
platform. I truly appreciate that.
well, I thank you too for taking the time.
Yes.
You were actually, when I sent out the messages to people, to be like, "Hey, do you want to join?" You were one of the first ones to respond.
Yay.
So I was like, "Yes, let's do it."
Yay. Yeah,
So
I love stuff like this, but you already know that.
no, and that's the thing, and I'm a talker too, so that's why I'm also up here like, okay, let me watch your time, see where we are.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no,
I'm not
it's
gonna
great.
sing.
So
I'll do what wop in the background, but I will talk
not the doo-wop pop pops.
in the background.
Listen, it's all important. People don't understand how important those backgrounds are.
That's right.
But no, I truly appreciate you for taking time
Absolutely.
to chat today and be a part, and
Yeah.
again, support in any way that we can. You've also been one that has always supported, so I'm
Mhm.
not gonna
Love you. Love you. Mean that.
but I love you too, and
Yeah.
I truly appreciate you. But so, not only to you, but we thank everyone who is watching. And feel free to comment and leave questions. If we need to do a part two for y'all, we can do that too.
I'm
You can
down.
follow me on social media, at Daytrail or the PP Plan for music and coaching. And you can follow Tonya as well, at Miss Positivity _T, or at You Wish Whim. And again, I'll give you another moment to just kind of discuss what you do and what you provide through those platforms as well
Yeah,
before we
yeah.
close out.
So again, Miss Positivity is all about what it says, positive energy out there to the world. My tagline is empower, inspire, and uplift. That's what all of my three businesses do. As you wish, with the marketing and branding for small business owners, adorable designs for your empowering messages on t-shirts and other products, and design with a purpose where we reach out to the community for young ladies and women to keep them empowered. So that's what I do.
There you go. So y'all follow, support, book, do whatever you need to do.
Yes.
It's all there for you. So we are gonna head out. So as usual, much love and peace.
Bye.